Andrew, first of all, we haven't had an opportunity to chat since you've joined the club, so welcome to MK Dons. Just talk a little bit about that period between July and the time that you joined MK Dons. You no doubt had offers from a number of football clubs. What was that period like for you? Was there a period of uncertainty? Were you worried about your next step in football? And why MK Dons?
Yeah, it was. I mean, mentally, it was a really tough time for me actually, because I don't quite envisage. When I left Bournemouth, I didn't quite envisage that sort of scenario where I was going to be out of contract, and you sort of think, maybe I'll go and play here or go play there or play abroad or whatever, and that never really materialised. Nothing really came up. I think the problem was a lot of clubs obviously tightening their purse strings because of the COVID situation. Had to be really selective about who they signed. It seemed that everyone was going along the lines of, we'll sign young players, develop them and sell them for more money. So obviously I was probably at the wrong end of that spectrum, being 34 now. So it wasn't too bad at start. But obviously the longer it goes on, you start thinking, was anything even going to happen here? And I trained with Luton for 3 weeks with a view to possibly a deal being done, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So then I went and trained with Bournemouth for a little while, and then obviously Russ got in touch and said, look, we'd love to bring you in. And I straight away I said yes, because I think, I knew already that they had a great reputation for playing football. I wanted to go to a club that suited my style of play, and there's no better club really than MK Dons. So yeah, I straight away it was done, and I've really enjoyed being here so far. Obviously we could do with a win at some point, but it's been really good. Really enjoyed it.
Just talk us through the process from your perspective, a player who's played at a very high level. Is there a moment where you not necessarily swallow your pride, but do you almost have to say, right, come on, Andrew, I'm 34, I still want to play football. Maybe I do have to go to League One. And is that difficult, or are you as a person, did you deal with that okay?
Yeah, I dealt with it okay, to be honest. I knew that I was probably going to have to drop down. Even before Bournemouth got relegated, I thought even if I leave now and they stay in the Premier League, I'm probably going to have to go to the Championship. I won't be going to another Premier League club, I would have thought. So I was quite geared up for that. And obviously League One, like I say, I still think there's good quality in the league. So, it wasn't something I was sort of turning my nose up at and thinking, I don't want to play in League One. It was something that I felt was probably a realistic scenario for me. And like I say, I was just really pleased that a club like MK Dons came in, and like I said, that play actually played the right way, because, obviously the lower league, you go down, there's probably less football played, it's probably a little bit more direct style of football. So to obviously come to a club that still try and get the ball down and play the right way, it's I was really fortunate and grateful for the offer and to come in here.
And that football, that style of football, we've talked to Russ about this so many times, is a blessing for the footballers, especially footballers like you, who's perhaps used to that style of football. When it works for the fans to watch that style of football at this level. But there's also the flip side of that sometimes it can be quite difficult to nail that week in, week out. And I suppose that's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's consistency. And that's why I suppose when you go up the leagues, the teams become more consistent, the players are more consistently perform well. The top teams in the Premier League, for instance, you probably say 99 games out of 100, they're going to be performing at their best. So it's, that's what you're looking for, consistency. And I think you have to stick to your philosophy. And that's what obviously Russ has done. But again, that's what it was like when I was at Bournemouth. Eddie Howe always stuck to his philosophy, never changed. A lot of people question sometimes, do they need to play a different way and do they need to do this? But dangerous way of, it's a little bit dangerous to change your philosophy. If you've got the players that are geared up to play the right style of football, you can't just suddenly turn around and say, well, we're going to become a direct long ball team if you haven't got the players that are used to doing it. So it's just being consistent, and the gaffer works. Obviously, Russ works hard in training, drumming that into the players, and he's got a way of playing, and everyone's got to buy into it.
And you've come into a side that is, I was going to use the word littered, but that sounds slightly derogatory. That's got a real mix of experienced players like yourself now, and Richard Keogh and Louis, and then you've got the extreme of that, players who are really trying to stamp their mark on the industry, players like Matt Sorinola and David Kasumu, and there'll be a number of others as well. A nice mix in the squad.
Yeah, and I think that's important. It's great to have young players. There's some really talented players here. But you do need experienced heads in the team. I think that's got to be said at any level. I remember when I was at Southampton, all those years ago, we got relegated to League One because the chairman wanted to play all the youth team and the young players, but we had all our experience was sat on the bench, and unfortunately we got relegated in the end because we didn't have enough experienced heads on the pitch. And I think that's the thing. You do need a good balance. You do need players that have been there, they've done it, just to help the young lads along. And obviously the young lads have got the energy, they've got the hunger that obviously as a sort of more senior player you can feed off. So I think it's been a good mix here, I think, and I think it's exciting.
When you come into a club, and obviously you knew Russ, and does he say to you, look, keep an eye on the younger players, try and encourage them, or do you do that naturally as a footballer of your experience?
Yeah, I do think you do it naturally. I think you try and give advice, without smothering players, because obviously players have got to have their own freedom. They've got to be able to themselves. You can't be trying to control players and say, well, you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. It's just trying to. But I think it's also how you conduct yourself, how you approach training, how you approach matches, how you approach everything to do with football and life. And sometimes you don't even need to coach players or try and teach players. They can sense it from you, they can learn from you, and they're actually doing that without even knowing. So when you've been used to sort of playing football week in, week out and at a high level, then you like to think the players will look at that and say, right, okay, what can I learn? So I think that's an important part, definitely.
Next game, obviously FA Cup, whether you play or not, we won't know that until the day, of course. But everyone looks forward to the FA Cup, wherever it's played, at whatever level it's played. And it's Barnet on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great to go on a good cup run. Unfortunately, my experience in the cup's not great. I haven't really been on a great run personally, but no, it's really, it'd be great to go on a cup run. It's all about momentum as well. We need a win. It'd be good to get a win on Sunday, get that momentum going for the league as well. So, yeah, any sort of win or cup run or league run is great, and I think it just breeds confidence.
And finally, I mentioned to Russ about we're all now anticipating the return of fans to matches, which, I mean, it's just, let's be honest, it's been weird. It's been weird for players to play football in stadiums without fans, for us to commentate on football without fans. It's very eerie. It's very unusual. How much are you and you think the rest of the players just looking forward to having that kind of atmosphere, even at a small level, going forward?
Well, that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's why you want to play football at the highest level, and because you got fans coming to watch week in, week out, and the atmosphere and the ups and downs and that you share with them. It's we have really missed that. I think everyone has. It's taken away probably home advantage or away advantage and things like that, because obviously there's been no fans there. But it will be great to get some atmosphere back in the games. And I think sometimes when you're struggling in a game and you're struggling to get going, you sort of get a bit of a rocket from the fans, and suddenly it spurs you on, or you sort of suddenly put a bit of pressure on the other team, and you get a bit of encouragement from the fans or whatever, and it helps. But without that, you have to create your own sort of atmosphere within the group, which is sometimes tough.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
You hinted at it there that there's a great mix of youth and experience in this team, but when you look at the likes of Keogh, Lewington, yourself, and then Cameron Jerome through that spine of the team, I mean, does it feel like it's only a matter of time before everything clicks and Don's fly out the table again?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, as far as I've only been in for 2 games, but as far as I'm aware and from what I can see, it's the only thing that's missing is a result, and I know that's a massive thing. But I think the performances have been really, really good. We probably a bit below it for the sort of first 60 the other night, but I think in general, I think that the performances have been really good. It's just trying to turn that into results and stop conceding in the first 10 minutes and possibly putting a few of our chances away. So we're very, very close. Like I say, it's about momentum. If we can get a couple of wins quickly, then suddenly you can just put 4 or 5 wins together and suddenly you're shooting up the league. So I think we've got everything there, everything sort of performance-wise ready to go, but it's just trying to get those results.
And we've seen you obviously come off the bench and then get an hour on Tuesday night. How close are you to playing your full 90? And has it come a little bit quicker than you expected, given the amount of time you had out?
Yeah, it probably has actually. Obviously I had a conversation with Russ and he sort of said, look, I'm not going to chuck you straight in because obviously you build yourself up. But I think I've sort of benefited from training with Luton and obviously with Bournemouth, fitness levels wise and with the ball and sharpness. So obviously there's nothing like match fitness, but I feel like I'm close. I felt good after 60 minutes the other night. So hopefully the 90 minutes isn't too far away.
Nice one. Thank you, mate.
Cheers.
Thank you.